Hey folks, as you fish from late fall into early winter, the advantages of hitting the same place again and again and again at different river levels is that you get to figure out if places have that high water refuge, if they have that current break, really at a bunch of different levels. Like when it's low and clear, which I've been here recently, and it's been super low and clear, and I got to see a lot of things and mark some waypoints and such, but I got to catch fish as they were spread out when it was low and clear, and I could see lots of areas where the foam was just sitting. As the river comes up, because we've had a rise, those areas shrink, and you get to see, hey, is this area that has, you know, a bunch of fish, but they're spread out in a generally pretty big area, you know, do they have that high water refuge? Do they have that place where they can shift to the bank or some major ledge out in the middle, or whatever it is, a creek mouth, you know, lots of different features that when this river rises, they can move a short distance to get to stay in that area where the foam just doesn't move, but it has a hard bottom below it. Those are the two things you're looking for. With the river up, you know, last time I was throwing this size head, which is, I modify my molds and never really know what they are after I've dremeled them out, but you know, it's somewhere in that 1/8 to 3/16 weight size to something that is somewhere between 1/4 and 3/8. What was that, 5/16? I'm guessing. I don't know. I haven't put this on a scale, but I'm going up in weight, and I'm also going with black instead of green because this water is fairly muddy, and you know, I'm on the way to a spot that I'm really excited to see, to know, hey, where I caught them before in a pretty big area, can I find where they've tightened up to? And then when I find that eddy or that ledge pocket or whatever it is, then can I find the spot within the spot? We'll go find out. The heavier head has to do with the increased flow. I'm still going to want to keep the jig underneath still foam, but sometimes if it's an eat spot, it's going to be right next to fairly strong current, so they nose up right against that current seam. With directly overhead, there's a lot, you know, there's foam that's not swirling, but it's just sitting. You come a foot out towards the current seam and it gets turbulent, in another 2 feet and it's ripping past. So sometimes that heavier head helps you keep it in those places without being swept out, depending on where your boat is positioned. The other thing is, we do have the wind picking up a little bit later today, and that's going to really play havoc with maintaining a taut line, so that, you know, from the tip of your rod down to the jig, there's not a curvature or you know, a bow in the line. That bow in the line really deadens your ability to detect that very subtle tap. All right, I've got both anchors down. I'm just going to sit here for a minute, let the wind push me around, make sure that I'm able to stop. It's important whenever you're using anchors that you got a way to get rid of them if you get in trouble. So I'm using the anchor wizard that gets it up pretty quick, but if I'm looking at that anchor line going down and it's bouncing and I'm not holding, I might have put it down in too much current, and I could be in trouble if it really catches hard. As it is right now, I don't see that anchor line bouncing, so I've picked a good spot. It's time to make that first cast and see if we're on top of fish. All right, I just climbed through all those branches to this eddy at the back of the island that eddy caused, and Didn't get anything. I'm actually realizing this log jam here isn't slowing down that much water here. I mean, there was a foam trail at the end of the island, and I worked it thoroughly. Sometimes big foam areas that that are easier for a big boat to set up on get worked over, and maybe those fish decide, yeah, maybe we don't hang out there, and they go to tighter to reach places. That's why I was motivated to fight all those branches to tuck up in here. But so far, I'm striking out. But this is why you come and do it, to figure out, okay, where do they go? Well, this is maybe not one of the places. I know they come here, but in numbers, and I don't know, like, I want to find the concentrations of them and then find the spot within the spot. Maybe I was wrong about this spot. They are in here. Tough to get to area. That's a good one. Nice long fish. Ooh. Okay. He's not real fat, but that's a long one. And it was hard to get up in here. Like all these branches and stuff. I think a bigger boat sitting out there was not casting to where this fish was. Let's get a length on this. Long fish, not heavy. You know, we get them that are real heavy this time of year. He is, yep. It's a skinny 19-incher. A little bit of tail rot there. Alright, I'm gonna let you back in. Got a couple spots on his head. I'll let you go, buddy. Thank you for biting my jig. Alright, well, that's one. I had to work for it. See all those branches in there. Yeah, it was a lot of calm area in there. Just hard to reach. It wasn't particularly deep, but I don't know that matters as much. I think when I was here, when it was super low and clear, that would have been like inches of water. This was just a little experimentation, and worked out. Ooh, stay on. I am throwing the Big Blade Chatterbait with the bucktail, and this nice fish obliged and said, "I'll eat that." How cool is that? Nice foam eddy on the shoreline, and no skirt on it. Let's take a look. So slow rolling a spinnerbait can be really effective, and this is just a variation of that. Let's see, it's a nice looking one, right? Which is 18 plus. Close your mouth. 18 and a half. So nice 18 and a half incher. We'll get him back in and take a look at this bucktail skirted, no trailer, Big Blade Chatterbait. So if I get this line unstuck, quit bumping the throttle, we can look at this thing. So I tied this with the longest bucktail that I had, so long strands. I did a blackhead. That's like the pupil, the eyeball of a shad, or I don't know what, but it's high contrast, white on black. And the Big Blade allows you to make it go really slow. So I'm gonna keep doing this. This was just experimentation. I didn't put a trailer on it just because in winter they tend to short strike. I think the fact that it has a black head, you know, that was the idea. Give it a target. Give it a high contrast. Man, I got line everywhere. Give it a high contrast target. But yeah, catch them on a chatterbait this cold is pretty cool. I will show you the speed. I'm not near where I need to be, but you can see. I'll let it get to the bottom, and then yeah, it's on bottom. I can feel it, and then it starts so easy, and the rod tip is just what tells me, hey, this is working or not. But I'm gonna keep doing this. But this is a slow presentation. The head is a 3/4. Yeah, 3/4. So you know, this big of a blade has a lot of lift to it, and you need that weight to you know, get it to not come right to the surface. Slow, slow, slow. It's hard to do it out here. I'm still in current. I'm gonna move back into that shoreline eddy, see if I can make this happen again. It could be that it's just that one. This is the pitfall of doing this. You catch one on a bait that you're like, oh, they're gonna hit this, and then that was it. I'm just happy I got one on it. Actually got a nice log there. I'm gonna cast across that. Get it to the top of it. It's gonna come across it, and then let it flutter down, and then resume. Maybe too fast. But this is right where I got him. Cast all the way to the back of that foam. I got leaves. Reset. Get to the bottom. Start it up again. I gotta tell you, it looks way better underwater than it does when I show you the wet rat look. When I pull it out and stick it in front of the camera. Let's look at that with the GoPro down. That stick coming out into this big area, pretty still foam. It's just a real promising looking thing. There's nice little pockets towards the back, but yeah, I want to get it right by that log. Let it get to the bottom. Start it up. Big foam eddies and big wood, if you can find it. It's a good combination. Working up this bank. This is not part of where I found them, you know, on recent trips, but I'm expanding upstream from it, and I don't know, this isn't real high likelihood. I mean, if there's one in this grass on these tight current seams, it's really looking to hunt down something to eat it. But I'm more excited about the top side. Where this grass stops, there's gonna cut back. There's a fish. Is an aggressive spot. Oh. Get in there. Wow. So another good one. Let's see what this one goes. We'll eventually get to where I was saying I was excited about. But, we'll get a quick measure on this one. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening today. Yep. Another one right at 18 and a half. Alright, let's get up to where I thought there was going to be fish, but that one was actually in this foam along the grass, flooded grass. I can see why they would tuck in here. I just think it's more current than I expected them to be in, but it just means that they're, I don't know, it's an aggressive place for them to be. But look at the foam. I mean, it's not moving. It's a little pocket of it, and it was probably just that one fish, but he was right in here. A little bit of stain on this side. This is real clear. I put it to the back there and brought it through where this foam is. A little rock, some grass, a little bit of everything. He was looking to chew. That's cool. I got the right bait. I gotta tell you, if I don't have to drag a jig and really just pick apart every last little bit of it, I ain't gonna. It's not every day that this is a thing. Okay, let's reset. I'm still casting all the way to the back of the foam. Let me show you what I'm doing. GoPro, start recording. Alright, this corner pocket. So there's a gravel dump here, a little island, and a steep bank moving up to the left. And right in the corner, a lot of foam that's just sitting there. There's a log right there in the middle. I'm going to come across it. Yep, come across it, and I'll let it fall straight down. I got in some leaves. But yeah, these corner pockets are, they trap a lot of foam. You know, they're not all deep enough to hold fish, but when they are, they're worth your attention. So, this is the first time I'm doing this cold with a bladed jig, a Big Blade Chatterbait, as it is. I've done this before with big bladed spinnerbaits. It's not usually something you get numbers in cold weather with. And you do want to stop it on bottom occasionally just to keep it close to the bottom. They tend to not chase it real far. That first one I got was, I think, tight to wood. I saw the wood at the more downstream end. I think he was more towards the head of that wood, big wood, in a big foam eddy. And I got another good sized foam eddy that I'm just hoping there's a log in the middle of, because that's the combo, whether it's jig or jerk bait or Big Blade Chatterbait with the bucktail. They like the wood, they like the calmer water, and frequently they're on the bottom under that big wood. So I thought for sure this would produce, and I've worked all sides of it, but I tell you what doesn't work about it. I mean, it's a big piece of wood. There's decent depth here. But look at all the swirling foam around it. It's too much current. Like, there's dead current up there, and maybe there's one, I don't know, the backside of that dock, but I don't know. This just was not it. At least I didn't get him to eat. You see something I'm on. Got some trash. All right. what you see here is a very common feature on this river. They're not at the mouth of every creek, but they're at the mouth of a lot of them. And it's a gravel dump. It's where, you know, whatever flooding that's happened upstream, you know, in that watershed, in this little valley here, it's not a big one, where this creek dumps out, carries sediment, rocks, sometimes boulders, and it juts out into the river. And where that happens, you know, you have the corner pocket above, which is where I got the first one, and now we're below it, and there's a lot of protected current. And big eddy here. Calm water. Wind just pushed it right out of the way. The calm water, if it's deep, is a really nice place to fish, especially in winter. Sometimes they use it as their spawning grounds in spring. I'm gonna get this stupid can eventually. Right at the mouth, right at the current seam there. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I switched back to the jig, and that one whacked it hard. I had put the chatterbait on that spot many times. So this one didn't want to chase, but you dangle a jig in front of him, he's ready to eat. He's got friends. All right, I'm editing, decided it's time for an illustration. Let's talk about creek mouth gravel dumps and the different current features that you want to pay attention to, especially in cold weather. All right, let's take a look at this. The main thing that causes the feature is this creek that comes here, and it kind of splits, and sometimes there's a little bit of water and low water that kind of trickles out the top side. The main river flow is out here, but this is a big gravel dump, and there's some grass growing on it. And the most obvious thing is this big calm water eddy here. And in higher flow, you do have a little bit coming through here, and you're going to see later in the day I come back to this and catch some nice fish on either side of that current flow. Throughout the day, that's an eat spot. I keep coming back to that, and I think you just watched me catch one right there. They can be anywhere along this current seam. Right in the center of it, there's a lot of leaf matter. There's actually a big log in the center of it. I worked it, but because it was clustered with leaves, it really wasn't that productive. As it tapers up towards the end here, especially in lower flow, you can catch them. You can watch this current kind of, gently sweep here, but you're going to see this pinching off here. Great area for jerk baits. I didn't get any on jerk baits down here, but don't ignore the last little bit of this gravel dump big eddy. The first one I got though was up here, this corner pocket. Got him on a log up in here, and this is something that a lot of people overlook. It's calm water, and everyone sees the eddy and was like, oh, they're there. Yeah, they are, and their eat spots are there and there and there and along the seam and some of the the end of it. But this this feature, which is just formed by gravel over the course of a long period of time, just coming out during floods of this creek and just depositing it there. You can have some deep water. It doesn't always form that way, but that corner pocket should not be overlooked. All right, let's get back to the adventure. Before we move on, everything that we talked about in the last video in terms of breaking down the cyclical currents certainly applies in these gravel dump eddies. So if you haven't watched that video, just go back and watch how important it is to double anchor and really assess the speed and the different features of the currents in these eddies. All right, out in the ledges, and this is the stillest example of foam. Oh, he popped off into that I found. I didn't know that if I would catch them in these ledges once the river comes up. Okay, we're just gonna take you over here so you don't tell any buddies. But yeah, another jackhammer. Not jackhammer. Chatterbait. Big Blade Chatterbait fish in the ledges. I'm gonna let him go away from his buddies. It's tough because you can see how turbulent it is here, and I've been throwing them in these spots, letting it get all the way to the bottom, because I know there's some depth down there, and there's got to be some calm pockets. I've worked the whole way across, and that was the first one I got. But I'm looking for this foam. It's sitting still. I have more of it on the other side, but I'm doing a lot of letting it get back down to the bottom, just free spooling and then starting it again, because I'm being swept back constantly, which keeps that bait, from lingering in the deep pocket that I found. I don't think I could do this without the torpedo. I really don't. You can like paddle cast, throw something out there, and then I'd just be gone. All right, this right here is the best collection of foam in the whole ledge, at least at this river level. There's another ledge below that we're going to check out in a minute, but I got the most confidence. This is where I got that last one on the chatterbait. All right, so the wind, beyond just making it miserable, I got to put my gloves back on, is making it hard to read the surface to find that secondary ledge. I do have my Google Maps waypoints that I've dropped, and I'm moving back up to what I can see. I'm getting close. When the wind wasn't blowing, I could kind of read where that secondary ledge is. The first one, the top one's obvious. The secondary one, which I think has the deeper water downstream from it, which I think I'm more hopeful of catching something there, is marked. I got 2 waypoints on it, one over there and one here. And actually, now that I'm coming up on it and the wind settles down a little bit, I can kind of see it. Alright. Better ways to catch them today. Maybe something to do right here. They're here. This is more work than I really wanted to do today. Alright, let's go explore. Let's go find some grass beds down there, throw this chatterbait at, do a little bit of exploration. I got a couple spots that I wanted to check back in on that day. Some of this I've never touched in cold water. Let's find some new stuff. guy. Get you back in here. So, yeah. Saw some wood. An area where the leaves are just setting. Not a big area, but worthwhile. Tough to get a bait in there. There's all these overhanging branches. I guess this river is still rising because there's an entire tree coming down. Huh. Maybe I can scratch it and feel a harder bottom. It's all shallow, soft, mucky. It's not what I'd hoped it would be. Let's move. I feel as though I power fished today and gotten fewer bites because of it. You know, I knew I would do it. I actually mentioned something as soon as I caught the first two on the chatterbait, that I get sucked into it and say, oh, this is going to be it. I think I could have caught more fish if I'd have just stuck with the jig, but it's just how I want to catch them. Cold water chatterbaiting. I'm also probably doing the thing I had said where I'm moving it faster than I should. If I had to guess, I would say that if you look at the salooner times, which I haven't for today, where I caught 3 of them in rapid succession with a moving bait, that was probably the sweet spot for when to throw a moving bait in cold water. It just happens that way, where they get real active. I should probably pay more attention to them, because I know that there is absolutely, flurries of hits during a day. Whether it's salooner or something else, I don't know. But it moves around in terms of when it actually happens. And I'm not saying that outside of those you couldn't just bop one on the nose with this thing and he's going to snap at it, but I don't know. I need to put it down. I can't. Need to put it down and pick up the jig. But I've also explored. I've also covered a lot of water that I don't think I would have in and around, or really on the outer perimeter and even beyond the winter pool I know to hold a bunch of fish. I'm going to tell you, I caught one outside of that. Is that a great find? No, it was a little guy at the end of the island back there. But, to do some of this, even in winter, is probably a good thing. But it's time to get back to that area proper and soak a jig. See what I get in the last 2 hours of the day. Vintage. Alright. Jig and TRD goatees. On the current seam, right where they should be. Right where I should have been fishing most of the day. I did get one there earlier. I left it. Why'd I leave it? There are places you can just sit on all day in winter and at least be on top of fish. It doesn't mean they're going to bite the whole time, but you know, this for sure is one of them. The last one was 16 and a half. And this one is also 16 and a half. Got a funky swirl pattern on the scales. It looks like, I won't be able to see it with this light, probably, but definitely a healed over sore. Can you see that? Pretty funky looking, huh? Alright, see you guys. Cookie cutter 16 and a halves. I'll take it. You're a good one. Yep, you're big. Oh, nice. So nowhere does the creek mouth gravel dump pattern work better than on the Juniata. This is a Susquehanna fish. We're on the Susquehanna today, but you know, if you can find a bunch of creeks that dump into the Juniata, and they don't have to be big. Yeah, this one is 17 and a half? No. Yeah, you can swing that tail. 17 and a half. But yeah, on the Juniata in particular, the creek mouth gravel dump pattern is so, I don't know, it's just, you can always get them on the downstream side where there's an eddy, like where I'm at now, and then on the upstream side, the corner pocket, where we got them on the chatterbait earlier today. So, you know, be on the lookout for that pattern. And man, they're liking the TRD gobies. Cookie cutter 16 and a half. Yeah. Yep. Alright, let's move across to the other side to get a better grade of fish. Maybe. Hang out near the end of that island where we got the 19 thing. Yep. Big run. Jumped good. That was a surprising jump. Right on the current seam. Gotcha. TRD gobies, yoga pants. Jig head I made. I went with a lighter one. Sun is set, but it was a clear day, so I'm gonna have light for a little bit longer than I did last time I was out, and it was overcast. Yeah, I'm not done yet. Alright, one more run back to the eat spot where I got the 17 and a half. You know, I don't mind it as much. I have, you know, pretty big moon right there, so when I pack out in the dark, at least I got that to help me. Mother Nature's headlamp. basically given up. I was like, all right, I really gotta go. But, you know, they eat right down to the last little bit of daylight. Can I keep you buttoned? I didn't feel this one bite at all. Ooh. Okay. Sticking with it. Still catching them. Yeah. That fish was just there. So, let's see. I can never just quit. Yeah, you're 18 and you gonna go half? No. But you're 18 and a quarter. Oh, that's a good day. Good day catching. Alright. Am I gonna say last cast? This might be last fish. I don't know if I'm ready to say last cast. You know, I should get out of here because I do not have navigation lights on this particular boat. That will not be legal here. Well, I'm not going to be legal here. It's hard to put down though. Alright, last cast. And I mean it. No, I don't. I'm lying. We'll see. It is getting cold though. And I guess I'll do a wrap up now. When you learn winter spots and you hit it repeatedly from late fall into early winter, and you get to see the same area in low conditions, and then once it's higher, the characteristic is totally different, and really what they need is current protection at all ranges of river level, you know, when it's really low and when it's really high. And I've seen a lot. I mean, I've seen I don't say two extremes, because this is not extreme. This is just up a little bit, which it hasn't been. And it's good to understand, yeah, I had some good eat spots out in the middle of the river last time here. I think they're blown out. It was just certainly tougher fishing. I did fish this when it was low and it just wasn't productive. Today it's productive. You know, the higher flow moves them to, I don't want to say to the bank, but to features like this creek mouth gravel dump, like features like the ends of the islands, you know, that really block a lot of current. That's where they want to be. Really happy to have had some traction throwing the Big Blade Chatterbaits with the bucktail. That was really cool. I think I stuck with it too long though. You know, I could have caught a lot more fish, I think, if I just stuck with the jig, with the TRD gobies, with the finesse jig, and finesse the whole day, because they're under the foam, especially next to big wood. But I think it's okay to not do the thing that's going to catch you the most fish when you're learning something new. And I absolutely learned and got some confidence in the in throwing a chatterbait in cold water. It's very cool. So anyhow, thanks for watching. This is the last cast.